Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. Okay, so every few months I figure I should show some birds and bugs to provide some contrast to compare those things and what they look like and how they perform with what these other things are that we tend to show on this channel. So this video is one of those. So we got 3 birds and then 3 bugs and then 3 of these other things which don't fall into either of the first 2 categories. And the third of those 3 really could probably warrant its own video altogether. It's pretty dynamic. So anyway, that's what we got going today. Check it out, get in the comments, let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you on the other side. All right, here we go. Okay, so bird number 1 is a close-up, slowed, but clearly a bird. Obviously a bird. Second one, again, obviously a bird. It's a little further away, but you can still tell how it's moving around, right? Third one, even further away, blurrier, but still, you can tell it's a bird, but we'll get a little closer and see it again. You can see the wings flapping, you can see tail feathers, you could just tell it's a bird. All right, so now we move on to the bugs, and they're dragonflies, but I use bugs for alliteration. Again, this is cool, right? It's clearly an insect, and you can tell how it's moving. You can see the wings, same thing here. You can tell from the size compared to the helicopter that it's closer, but you know, it's a dragonfly. This is what insects and bugs look like when they're moving around on camera. Yeah, and again, you see wings, it's an insect, you can tell what it is, you can tell how it's moving around. Now, we're gonna get to the other things. Check this out. Yeah, no wings to start with. Nothing to indicate how it's moving around or how it's stabilizing itself. Yeah, and it's zipping by at a speed that seems to be much faster than the insects we looked at and much faster than the birds. There it is in real speed. And there it is. I know it's tough to see, but you know, yeah. The point though is that in contrast to the birds and the insects and what they look like when you record them and you slow it down, these things are different. Right? And these things aren't in every frame like the birds and the bugs. These things hop through because they're going so fast. So yeah, all right, so here's the second of the 3 of the others, and that's a pause. It's underneath a wing. And again, you know, in terms of presentation, there's no wing structure. There's nothing to indicate how it's moving around in space. Or stabilizing itself. There's no directional component. And in real speed, this is the only frame well, not the only frame, but that's the frame I see it in primarily in real speed, which is a few times over here. Yeah, I don't know what this thing is, but again, it doesn't present like any of the bird footage we looked at, right? And it doesn't present like any of the insect dragonfly footage. I mean, this is something else. What it is, I don't know. I'm not professing to know what it is, but I know what it isn't, and it's not a bird, and it doesn't seem to be any insect of which I am aware. Yeah. So, and you know, you zoom in and you pause, you look at that, and you go, what am I looking at? So, yeah. All right, so here's the third one, and it's the most dynamic one. Like I said, it's entitled to its own video, really. So this thing goes over the wing there, and it keeps going. But what's interesting, for starters, is that this thing catches up and passes the airplane. And then it goes out, gets up higher to cockpit level, and then it stops accelerating, and it paces the plane, and then decides to leave. And it changes shape when it leaves. So here it is down here, and like I said, it catches up, passes the airplane, gets up to cockpit height, and then this is where it stops for a moment, and it keeps pace with the plane. Yeah, I know it's difficult to see, but I mean, this is slowed and with the contrast adjusted. You'll see it in a second what it looks like at real speed with regular, you know, no contrast or settings adjustment. I mean, it's impossible to see. It's not something you're gonna see, or any of us are gonna see, unless you look, and this is what I'm talking about. I'll show you this twice. I mean, you know, you've seen exactly where it is and what it's doing, and it's still hard to see, right? So imagine just living life and looking up in the sky. You're not going to see anything like that happening, but it's clearly happening constantly because we're constantly seeing it. Once you slow down the footage and, you know, go frame by frame, zoom in, change contrast, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a whole situation going on up there. So yeah, this thing caught up with an airplane and got up to cockpit level, and then decided to slow down and, you know, go the same speed as the airplane, and then it decided it was done and left. So like I said, you know, this one to me is very dynamic. I love this capture. It's not mine. I saw this online. And yeah, but this stuff like this is happening all the time in the sky. It's just a matter of looking and having you know, a game plan and an approach for looking, and having a desire or an inclination. So yeah. All right, so this is going to be quick because we only looked at 3, but there's this thing, and again, the theme, overarching theme here is no propulsion signs, no, you know, we don't know how they're stabilizing, steering, or anything, but they're able to outperform our aircraft, like this thing, literally flying circles around an airplane. Yeah. All right, folks, there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this one. This is kind of a quick one, but you know, these things aren't birds. They're not insects. What they are, I don't know. Like I said during the presentation, I know what they aren't. They're nothing prosaic, and they're out there, and they're constant. And yeah, so anyway, that's that. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Take care.